It is so great to see you. I am so glad that you could make it. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Schoning. I'm from the Soul Lighthouse. We are in April. Can you believe that this year has moved by so quickly? April is going to be the most stunning, the most fabulous, the most energy-driven month. And it really is such an exciting energy that I've called the theme of this video, the keys to the kingdom. Now, because April is so busy, there's a lot going on. I'm going to be doing a number of videos, so please make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you don't miss any. You'll see why, as we go through today's video, why there is so much to talk about that we need to do it in a couple of videos. We are still in that space where we are leaving Mercury retrograde shadow. Mercury retrograde finished on the 28th. Hallelujah, I can hear you say. It was an intense one. It was really a very, very rough one for us. But remember, we are in the shadow period until we get to the 16th of April. So things are getting better. They most certainly are. They're not as intense, but it's going to take us until we are in the 16th of April, until we shudder off that blanket of the shadow period of Mercury retrograde. So what is April all about? Well, you and I, we have spoken as we've gone through this year of how insanely busy 2019 is. It is just this incredibly busy year. It's insanely busy. I have been speaking to so many people and they say, you know, it's like this tornado that is spinning and everything is busy all at the same time. Everything needs my attention, whether it's home, whether it's the kids, whether it's work, whether it's the boss, whether it's the business or the money or the family. It's like everything's all happening all at the same time, and everything is urgent and everything is screaming to be done now, urgency. And there is this tornado of energy that is just pulling us in every which direction. You are probably incredibly tired of me turning around and saying that 2019 is a hard working year. We know it's busy. We know it's going to accelerate faster and faster as we go through the year. But here's a new image that I would like to give you. It is like we are climbing a mountain. You know, 2018 was one of those years where we just kind of went round and round in circles. Do you remember? It was like no traction and like very busy doing all sorts of things, but not getting anywhere with it. Well, 2019, the difference is that while we've got so much that's clamoring for our attention, and yes, there's so much stuff that we need to do, the difference is that we've actually got traction. So it's almost as if we are able to start climbing up that mountain. Now, you and I both know that when we're climbing a mountain, it feels like it's hard work. It's hard on the fingers, it's hard on the hands, it's hard on the muscles as you're pulling yourself up. Your leg muscles go into this wobble. It's really very hard work to climb a mountain. And often we forget just how far we've come. So as we go into April, what I'd like to suggest is just take some time out. Just breathe for a while and stop and look back and say, you know what? Wow, look how far we've come. This is not a year like 2018 where that tornado is whirling around and we're not getting anywhere. We're very busy doing nothing. This is a year where we are very busy, lots of stuff happening. Things are piling up fast and furious, but we are climbing that mountain. And so here we are in April. You know, we finished the first quarter. Yeah, and it's time to actually look back and say, wow, look how far I have come. And be in that space as we're going through this last month of the first quarter, just being in the space and saying, yeah, it's been a lot of work that we've done and a lot of mileage that we've covered. So what does April have in store for us? April resonates with the 4 energy, stands to reason it's the 4th month of the year. So what does that 4 actually stand for? Well, think about it. that 4 energy is all about stability. It's all about solidness. It's about structure. You know, a table has 4 legs, a chair has 4 legs, and this enables it to be very solid and very steady on the earth's surface. 4 is an energy of dependability. It is this glorious energy of responsible. It's accountable. It does what it says it's going to do. It's got a lot of strength. When a 4 says that it's going to be there and it's going to do such and such, you can bet your bottom dollar that it's going to happen, because a 4's energy, it's reliable, it's dependable, it's responsible, it's accountable, and it sticks at it until it has got things done. It brings structure to whatever it gets involved with. Now, that 2019 energy, we've spoken about it during this year, it resonates at a 12-3. And we know that that is that energy of the child. Let me just take me off there. We know that that is that glorious energy of that child energy. It's creative, it's joyful, it's in the moment, it wants to be in the moment. So what we do is we add that 4 and the 3, and what we have as we get into this 7 energy, and it begins to look a little bit like this, where that 4 gives us the foundation, it gives us the structure, it gives us the solidness that we can build on. You can appreciate that no matter what we're trying to create, whether it's strength in the family or in our finances or in a business or in a new project, that we need to have a foundation of strength. We need to have the structure so that we can actually have something dependable to be able to build on. That's what this energy of April is all about. Brilliant, fabulous, solid, stable structure. Because when a 4 gets involved, it does what it says it's going to do. And this gives us our practical robustness. So there's a very practical energy as we go through April. This very practical robustness that says, come on, let's get our ducks in a row. Let's get them all marching in the same direction. Let's do what we need to do so that we have that foundation of strength. And imagine now that we're standing on that foundation and we add in this 3 energy. And what is the 3 energy? It's all about, let's see how we can make things happen. So now we've got this practical energy, we've got this foundation of strength, and we've got this energy of structure. And what we're now adding into the mix is this creative energy that says, let's make things happen. Come on, let's get to it. Come on, let's dive in. Let's make things happen. And very glorious, very powerful energy. And what that does is then it creates this kind of energy of the 7. What is a 7 about? In its pure form, that 7 is connected. That 7 has enormous vision. It has the ability to see the dream and be driven and be determined to actually achieve the dream. It can be intense. It can be very analytical. But at the end of the day, it takes the data that it's collected and analyzed. It takes everything that has been intently poring over. It combines it with the vision and the dream and the determination and the connectivity, and it comes out with absolute wisdom of what needs to be done. Now, all of this is in its absolute strength, you know, so just be mindful that for every power and positive aspect, there is also the shadow aspect. So the shadow aspect of the 4, as opposed to practical robustness and foundation and structure and responsibility and reliability, can be this stubbornness and inflexibility and intolerance. And you know, that kind of thing that says, let's do something, and there is this absolute, no, we're not going to do it. We tried that 10 years ago. Intolerance, not going to make it happen. Inflexibility, that is the negative side of the 4. The 4 in its negative side can actually stick to routine. It can get really bogged down into a rut that says we're going to do 1 + 2 + 3 + 4, and it doesn't see any other options. So be just very aware of that, that practical robustness and that foundation of strength when it's out of balance, can become very, very rigid and fixated and said it's got to be this way or no way at all. That 3 energy, the negative shadow side of the 3, is that it's completely irresponsible and it has no mindfulness and no attention to what needs to be done. And it has no accountability, no responsibility. So it's out there and it's making appointments and not keeping them, or giving promises and not living up to it. It's that energy that says, I'm going to overpromise and underdeliver. Be mindful of that. And then the shadow of the 7 is that intensity, that desire for data and to analyze and to know exactly what's going on, can actually push into paranoia, it can push into anxiety, and it can push into super stress in this need to know everything before I make a move. So there is power, absolute glorious power wrapped up in this. Just be very mindful that for every power side, there is also a shadow side. And so just be mindful of your attention to what you're doing and how you're going through this energy, so that you can harness the practical robustness, you can harness the foundation, you can harness the let's make it happen, and you can harness the wisdom and the connection and the vision and the determination of that 7. But it ends up looking a little bit like this. Here we are in a space where we often have an idea or a dream of something that we want to create, of a dream that we want to see happen, or a vision that we want to make happen. And think about it. We have this dream in our head, and we might make vision boards, and we might, make statements of intention about what it is that we want to create. But all too often, we have no clue about how to get from what it is that we want to create to the steps that we need to make to actually make it happen. And so our dream and our vision always remains like a castle in the air. It always remains somewhere out there. It's not something that I can actually actively get to. I can't make it happen because it just remains in the realms of dream. It remains in the realms of a vision, and it has no practicality. So now can you see where I'm going when I say we've got practical robustness of the 4, which says let's carve out the steps. We have that creativity of the 3 that says let's do it this way. What about this way? Maybe we could look at this way. And we have that absolute intrinsic value of the 7, which comes in and it says just assess, just analyze, just see what needs to be done so you're moving forward with wisdom. And what it does is it now puts us into a space where instead of that castle in the air, we can now see our way how to get into the entrance. And I thought because I live in Germany, I thought that I would put up our iconic castle that everybody in the world has seen a picture of, Neuschwanstein, and it is the most glorious, beautiful castle. It's actually what Walt Disney used as his draft when he was doing the Walt Disney logo, is based on the Neuschwanstein castle. But this energy that we're in now in April allows us to see the pathway. It allows us to walk up the pathway, and it allows us to walk up to that castle that we've had, that image, that dream that we've had of that castle, and go knocking on the door and say, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here. So you can see it's a very powerful energy. And before we go any further, as you listen to this and as we go through this next week, spend some time just holding on. What was my vision? What is my dream? Those dreams that I've kind of relegated to the castle in the air, bring them back out. Allow yourself to dream. Allow yourself to be inspired. Allow yourself to hold the vision again. Because in this energy that we have, this gives us the steps that we can now start to put into place. And whether that's a book, whether that is a new creative idea, whether it's a new way forward for your family, whether it's launching a business, whether it's going after a new job, whatever it is, this now gives us the steps and the power to put those steps in place. In short, the question that you've got to ask yourself here is, what does your kingdom look like? What does your kingdom look like? You know, what is it that you want this kingdom to look like? And I'm not Picasso, so imagine this as I'm talking. I want you to think of all those fantasy movies that you've ever watched, you know, Lord of the Rings and all of those glorious fantasy movies that we've ever watched. And talking about a kingdom, there is always a castle wall and there is always a castle gate. And think of this as, this is where the castle goes. It's inside the wall. It's inside this sacred space. And this is my kingdom. And I want you to think of this energy. This is my kingdom. This is my sacred space. This is my castle. This is where I live. This is my wall. These are my gates. Okay, I want you to just, what does your kingdom look like? And I want you to be in a space where you said, if this was my kingdom and this was my sacred space and I was the king or the queen of my kingdom, what would my values or my rules be in this kingdom? What would we stand for? What kind of king would I be? What kind of queen would I be? How would I rule this territory? What kind of rules would I pass? How would I want people to treat each other? How would I treat other people? How would I want other people to treat me? We need to, when we are in a space where we're kind of trying to harness that castle that's in the air and bring it down to reality, you kind of want to be in a space where you say, every castle is part of a kingdom, and every kingdom has a king or queen who sits on the throne. And if this is so, I am the king or the queen of my own territory. What is this territory about? What does it stand for? What does it mean? This is my sacred space. That gate, think of every fantasy movie that you've ever watched and the soldiers who stand at the gates to the kingdom, and what do they turn around to anybody who comes? They say, halt, who goes there, friend or foe? And so we need to be in a space that says, who comes into my kingdom? Who's able to come in or out? Do they come in and they echo the values? Do they echo what we stand for? Do they echo the rules of the land? Do they uphold the sacred space? Or do they bring toxicity and pain and trauma and sabotage within the castle? What do I want this kingdom to stand for, and who gets to come in and out? Because guess what? We're the ones in control of who gets to come in and out of our kingdom. That wall that is around our castle and is around our little kingdom are our borders and boundaries. So where are our borders and boundaries? Because when we're in a space where we are, again, we're creating steps up to our castle in the air and we're making things happen, we've got to be very clear. What do I stand for? What is this about? What am I the king of? What am I the queen of? What is my sacred space? What are my borders and my boundaries? And who gets to come in and influence the show? This is an energy this month that I also call the kingmaker. I call it the queen maker, because it's about stepping up into a space of your own power and your authority. This is your dream, your vision. This is what you want to create. And so we need to be in a space where we understand our own authentic needs, our own authentic space, our own authentic words that we speak, you know, to ourselves and to others, before we can actually start to put that practical step in place. Does that make sense to you? This is one of these energies where we need to really listen to our authentic selves. And just because this is such a powerful, powerful month, I would urge you, be mindful of the words that you use to yourself. You know, we're so mindful of the words we allow ourselves to use with others. Be mindful of the words that you use to yourself. You are a king, you are a queen. Treat yourself with that absolute respect that a queen or a king demands. A king or a queen is empowered. She is strong. She knows her space. She knows her authority. She knows her authentic self. And we want to be in that space where we invite that energy to come back. We invite that energy to come back. April is such a glorious, powerful month to make this happen. You know, and I know that the greatest prison that we live in is this fear of what other people think. So if I go back to this image here of what is my sacred space, what do I stand for, what are my values, what are my borders and my boundaries, when I'm the king or the queen of my own territory, I'm not bound by what other people think or say I should do. My power is mine. I'm not disempowered because I'm doing what everybody else or what I think everybody else wants me to do. I'm in a space where I'm standing in a place of empowerment. So one of the real issues of April is being in a space of self-referral and being in a space where I'm able to recognize that I need to think about what it is that is my sacred space, what I stand for. Because the greatest prison that we all live in is the fear of what other people think. And this is absolutely true, that when you truly are in a space where you don't care of what anybody thinks of you, and I don't mean that from a space of disrespect or a space of, oh, I don't care, or I don't give a damn, or, you know, go to hell, who cares anyway? Because that's not caring. But when you truly get into a space that says, you know what, I understand you think differently, and that's okay, because I think differently about this issue, and that's okay. When you reach that point, you've reached that enormously, dangerously awesome level of freedom, because now you can truly step into your power. And this is the very core message that April has in store for us. So it's a very big month. It's an exceptionally big month. This is what I've just spoken about, is the blanket energy. I want you to think of this as the blanket energy that we're dealing with. It's all about own the kingdom. It's all about own your authentic level. It's all about being in a space where you are aware of your sacred space. It's about remembering what was the vision of that castle that's in the air. And it's about harnessing the practical robustness. It's about being in a space where you bring in that creative, let's get it going, but you do so with wisdom. And you do so with consciousness, and you do so with connectivity. That's the blanket energy as we go through April. However, April is a huge month, okay? Why do I say that? Because we have the Vedic New Year that starts on the 14th of April. And what that means is we're moving into a cycle. It's all happening next week. The sun moves into Aries, and it is exalted, and it is, oh my God, powerful stuff. This is like somebody put all the power on in the power stations, and everything is just shining and vibrating with absolute power. Brilliant energy. The sun moves into exalted in Aries, and guess what else happens? The Venus moves into Pisces, and it is also exalted. These are two exceptionally powerful energies. And if that's not enough, we also end up with a full moon in Virgo. So all of this is happening towards the end of next week as we move through to the 14th of April, and then the 16th of April, and then the 17th of April. All of this is happening, very powerful stuff. So we kind of want to be in a space where we can harness this energy. Because of that, I'm going to be doing a special webinar. I'm going live on YouTube. It's a premiere. We're going on the 11th of April so that you are well prepared before it all goes down. Please join me. It truly is powerful stuff that you want to be aware of, and you want to know what's going on so you can harness it, and you can be very mindful, and you can be very conscious. I talk about April as a power month. It really is. I know this energy that we've had through 2019 is such a strong energy, but this energy as we go through this coming week. It is literally all the power stations in the land going on all at the same time. And we need to be able to leverage it. Can you imagine if we can just leverage it? How glorious we can bring that power station energy into every aspect of our life. Your money, your business, your relationship, your family, you know, all of these things, your job. Just imagine how we can leverage that and the power that it could just vibrate and throb with. It's just glorious. It's just absolutely glorious. But that's next week, so join me next week. It's on the 11th of April, the premiere. I will be sending out the invitation, but please subscribe to our YouTube channel so you get the notification of that when it happens. Very short and sweet. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm really honored that you tune in. I hope that you get value out of this. I hope that you are able to sit back and really take to heart this whole concept about the kingdom and your own power and being the king and the queen, and being in a space where you can leverage the practicality and you can couple it with the creativity, and you can really put it into super drive with the consciousness and the connectivity that we have as we go through April. Thank you so much for listening. It is always my pleasure to be with you and to be of service to you. And if you want to get hold of me, please get hold of me on the website or click my email link. It's below here. I love hearing from you. Thanks so much and have a great day. Have a great week. I'll see you on the 11th. Bye for now.